Hey everybody, welcome to the homestead a la Mountain Jewel. Today I am going to undertake a very exciting task, and that is digging up some roots. So earlier in the year I shared with you some of my favorite perennial permaculture plants, and a lot of them were roots. And today we're going to go around the homestead and dig up some of them to see how they're doing as a follow-up video and as dinner. Alright, so first up we have this awesome plant, which if you've been following us since the beginning of the year, you will remember. So I just weeded this bed, took away a lot of the material into the compost, and I'm left with the Chinese Mountain Yams and skirret that I planted last year. And I have to say, this is pretty cool. Our beds aren't that awesome, but I probably planted like something that was about this size, and now I have this entire plant. And skirret is an old plant that fell out of favor, but it used to have a lot of popularity before the carrot took off. This was like the carrot, and it tastes like a mix of the carrot and parsnip. And what I really love about it is that it's a perennial. So each year, a part of my food forestry habit is to take the little tendrils of the roots and go and put them around the property so that in 10 years' time, I'm basically passively growing vegetables in the understory of my food forest. It was also known as crummock, and a very favorite vegetable, but obviously it's harder to clean than the carrot, and it's got these massive roots, but they're not very big, just like a ball of roots, so it fell out of favor. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Next up, we have this entire row of gobo, which is a Japanese burdock root. And obviously it's been hit pretty hard with the frost. We planted some of these seeds last fall and then amended the bed where the plant didn't come up this spring. So let's let Eenie dig one up and see what kind of root we got here. All right, Ian, what you got here?
All right, so I got a multi-rooted burdock, and I did break it. So the difficult part is they can get a couple feet wide for fibrousness, so that's good. So it's not too fibrous, so it's still edible. We'll wash it, but it makes a really nice, delicious vegetable, traditionally consumed in Japanese cuisine, often in stir fries, ferments, and miso soup is one of my favorite ways. So we like to chop it up and add it to a stew vegetable or stir fry it. But basically it's a longer term vegetable. It is a biennial. We eat it the first year, but it takes about 100 days to come to maturity. But now as the energy descends into the roots, what we'll do is we'll harvest whatever we can for edible food, which is the less fibrous roots. And the more fibrous roots will dry out and use as more of a medicine for cleaning the blood and lymph and livers. So that's burdock.
We dug up some of our Chinese mountain yams. Now this is a very exciting perennial tuber. Obviously it had a little bit of trouble in our soil, and we weren't able to take it out of the hard pan basically without breaking it up quite a bit. But this is a very popular root tuber in obviously China, and it's grown all throughout the mountainous regions. We love it because it is lauded for its amazing flavor, it's easy to grow, and it's a perennial, so it comes back year after year. Things like sweet potatoes, which are amazing, only live for one season, and things like the Peruvian potato only live for one season, although some of ours overwinter. This plant, each year spreading it throughout the homestead. You're getting the gist, and by the end, we have Chinese mountain yam trellising all over our food forest and the trees and stuff, so it's very exciting. Alright, and lastly, we've got this Apos Americana, the groundnut, which is a native perennial tuber, but the ones that we grow have been selected and cultivated for their size, taste, and other human needs. So let's, Enie's digging around trying to find the base.
Found the base. So
Whoa!
What?
That is unlike any that I've ever
seen. No!
Wow!
So you can see these are pretty abundant.
Those are so much bigger than ones, like the ones in nature I've seen are like that size.
And we planted one.
Just for context and scale, that's my palm. That's amazing.
So one thing that gets me even more excited than growing food is growing food that fixes nitrogen. So this is another nitrogen fixing crop, Apos Americana, and it didn't really seem to falter throughout the droughts. We didn't give it any attention and it yields. So that's a plant I definitely want on our team.
So you hear us talk about this a lot, but one of the things that is so amazing is just how abundant nature is and Mother Earth. So we already have, and I've just spent like 1 second dividing this. But every time I do this and dig these up, I just see the vision that we've had multiplying literally, and it's so exciting.
So this vision that we have for perennial agriculture, well, it's not ours. It is an amazing, inspirational, long-term process. And to be able to work with these plants that so many others have worked with, connected to, intended for generations, makes me feel humble and very grateful. So as we continue, we're happy to share all the great, beautiful things that come with running a permaculture homestead with a focus on perennials.